In this lecture, we're going to improve our function by using parameters. Let's take a moment to understand our function. While our solution works, it can be improved. The biggest issue with our function is the message. No matter how many times the function is called, the same message appears on the page. Our function should be flexible. This is possible with a feature called parameters. A parameter is a variable that can be updated outside the function. Customizing the variables in a function adds flexibility. Inside our function, remove the payment status variable. Next, inside the parentheses of the function, add a variable called payment status. Parameters can be added inside the function's parentheses. Unlike variables, values do not need to be assigned. After adding this parameter, our script will break. In the preview, the error states that there are too few arguments. It's not the responsibility of the function to assign a value to the payment status parameter. Instead, the value must be provided when the function is called. This is why we're getting an error. We're not providing a value. A value can be sent to the function by writing it in parentheses. Let's pass in 1. This value will be the value of the payment status variable. Let's try testing our code by running the script. Everything is functioning as before. By using parameters, we can avoid hard coding a value into the function. Functions can be fed data to alter the output. We're not limited to a single parameter. Multiple parameters can be added by separating them with a comma. For example, let's add a parameter called showMessage. Let's use this parameter to toggle the variable dump function. We may not always want to output the payment status into the console. Wrap the function with an if statement. The condition will be the showMessage parameter. Next, in the invocation of the getStatus message, let's pass in true. The values passed into the function must correspond with the parameter list. The number will be assigned to the payment status parameter. The Boolean will be assigned to the showMessage parameter. If we reverse these values, the values for the parameters will change. The order does matter. In some cases, you may want to assign default values to your parameters. What if we had 5 parameters? Constantly passing in 5 values to a function can be annoying. It's optional to add default values for a parameter. We can do so from the parameter list. Let's set the showMessage parameter to true. Next, we can remove the true value from the invocation. PHP won't throw an error. If we don't pass on a value for a specific parameter, PHP checks the parameter for a default value. If there is a default value, it'll be used. Values passed into a function will override the default value of a parameter. We're getting the same output as before. That's awesome. There's one last thing I want to mention before moving on. In the programming world, you're going to hear 2 words called parameters and arguments. Oftentimes, developers use these words interchangeably, but there's a difference. A parameter refers to the variable in the function's parameter list, whereas an argument refers to the value of the parameter. In our case, the payment status and showMessage variables are parameters. No one's going to yell at you for using the wrong term. However, it's always good to know the difference. Throughout the course, you'll see me using both terms to describe a function's parameters. In the next lecture, let's continue improving our function by exploring return values.